Belief in the animation of everything in the world has been utilized on a large scale by the Chinese of every age to consult spirits on all sorts of human business, even on affairs of state of the highest importance, in order to ascertain beforehand whether they bring good fortune or not. Gods of all kinds have been interrogated by mediums, male or female, called Wu and He, a numerous class, the existence of which is mentioned in the most ancient books, so that we may suppose it to have been the priesthood of China in the primeval animistic age, as it has always been the highest and holiest duty of the sons of heaven to keep the Tao of man in a perfect state by their system of government. They always had in their service learned men charged with the observation and interpretation of phenomena. Thus, proper measures might be taken to avert threatened calamities. Such official observation was always considered to be of statutory obligation because it is mentioned in the Shu King as an institution of the ancients. In one of the books of this classic, the Hung Fan, the objects of governmental care are set forth. Among these there is one called a thoughtful utilization of the various manifestations, namely in rainfall, sunshine, heat, cold, wind, and the seasons. The earliest classification of environmental phenomena was according to fire, water, earth, wood, and metal, the 5 components of the universe. The 5 elements correspond with the seasons, and with the southern, northern, central, eastern, and western divisions of the world. Chinese philosophy, ancient and modern, teaches that wind is the breath of the universe, a mixture of yang and yin, containing more yang in summer and more yin in winter. Accordingly, it is in the measure the Tao itself, so that its irregularities must be supremely significant. Owing to this theory, an enormous amount of meteorological wisdom has been gathered for the sake of the human race, principally tending to predict, for the direction and strength of the wind on each day of the year, its directions on coming days, and consequently the chances of rainfall or sunshine, floods or harvests. This science teaches that the winds derive their character from the parts of the universe whence they blow. They have the characteristics of the human passions, because these are assimilated with the north, south, east, and west. It is, therefore, possible to foretell from the wind what human passions will predominate, and what corresponding event shall therefrom result, such as rebellions produced by anger. The observation of the Song Pian, deviations of the stars and planets, represent what we call astrology, the main and most extensive branch of the official system of divination of nature up to the present time. Each subdivision of the territory of the Son of Heaven was placed under the rule of a part of the starry sky, in accordance with a system called Fen Ye, allotment to the celestial fields. Highly important for official astrology was, of course, the zone around the pole, the stars in which represent the emperor and his court, his residents and ministers. The so-called flowing stars, or comets, their movements through the stars, and their conjunctions with the planets were celestial signs of great significance. So, also, were falling stars, and star rains or meteoric showers. Timely rainfall, indispensable for the production of food, generally proved that the order of the world is in a sound and proper condition. Accordingly, it forebodes happiness. Yet rains may sometimes be the tears which heaven weeps because great evil is imminent. Evil is always in store if it rains other things than water. Reconcilement or reparation of the Tao of the universe and man is then urgent. Rainbows, being like the winds, composed of yang and yin, were naturally considered to be excellent means of investigating the Tao and its derangements. Their colors and the times of their appearances were observed, and the simultaneous conditions of the stars and planets studied. Thunder, the herald of rain, is always a propitious phenomenon, but if it brings no rain, may forebode evil. Lightning, which strikes men or objects, always betokens evil, even great calamities, such as attacks by rebels or enemies acting as instruments of the rage of heaven. Earthquake signified that the respect of the ministers for the ruler was gone, so that rebellion was imminent, with war, bloodshed, arson, destruction of crops, famine, plague, and other evils, nay, even the dethronement of the Son of Heaven. A great stream, like the Yellow River or the Yangtze, will naturally never cease to flow, but if it does, a stagnation in the machinery of government is impending, the fruit of ill will in the Mandarinate. Dragons, the emblems of clouds and rains, and therefore also the symbols of the imperial dignity and its benignant influence, have risen many times from large rivers to foretoken great prosperity for the Son of Heaven and his government and people. Each of the 5 large divisions of the universe has its special dragons, blue, red, white, black, or yellow, respectively, like the east, south, west, north, or the center. Therefore, the color of every dragon which is seen in the sky must be carefully reported to allow interpreters to explain the case in connection with various universistic factors. Ferocious beasts have entered cities as heralds of the order of the universe, and by howling in the streets or upon the walls have announced something which presaged the depopulation or ruin of the city or some other great evil. The list is endless, since there is nothing in China in which the living soul of the universe does not dwell. We have now taken a survey of the way in which emperors in all ages have devoutly governed the empire, with as much adjustment to the universe as their science would allow. They have thus obeyed a classical rescript, found in the Li Yun, which reads as follows. When the holy men make rules of life, they must make heaven and earth the root thereof, the yin and the yang the principle, the 4 seasons the handle, the sun and the stars the regulators of the times, and the moon the divider of those times. The Kuei and the Shen they shall employ as servants, the 5 elements as the substance thereof, the rules of social life and righteousness as the instruments, the natural character of man as the field. Heaven hangs out its figures, says the Yi King, which announces felicity or evil, and holy men shall conform their actions with them.